Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today as we continue in our journey through the author base of the SCP Wiki, and today we begin our two-part exploration of the works of good friend of mine, SCP author Fantem. As a reminder, my structure for this series is as follows. 1. I review and discuss an author's first article, if and how it works as a good introduction of the works, and what I love about it. And 2. I review and discuss my personal favorite article from this author. There are some rules for video number 2. 1. The said article cannot be a collaboration article, and 2. It cannot be part of any larger canon, as the whole purpose of video 2 is to highlight an article that I view as underrated and that you should go read from that author. All that being said, Fantem's first SCP is SCP-1825, and I guarantee that even the most dedicated Fantem fans don't know this one. SCP-1825 is a pinball machine that makes pinball in real life. No, I'm not going to elaborate any further on that. Go read the article yourself instead. Bet you thought I'd get deep into the description again, didn't you? No, you lazy little gremlin. My whole point is encouraging you all to go read. I'm like the Exploring series, if it was dumber and with more blatant humor. No hate to you, man. You got a really good sense of humor, too, and your videos are an inspiration to me. No. Instead, I will jump straight into explaining how 1825, Fantem's first SCP, is a perfect introduction for you to all of her amazing works. I'm going to do this by doing something unexpected. Reading through the test logs instead. Oh yeah, baby! Reading voices coming out! Also, I desperately need to pad my videos more. None of them in this series have reached 10 minutes, and that's like a personal insult to me now. So, let's get straight to the reading. Test log 1825-01. Forward. All testing rooms used with SCP-1825 are to have the walls composed of reinforced steel in order to prevent an incident similar to the one prior to containment. Test number 1. Subject D-1825-1. Test. Place SCP-1825 inside an empty 10 meter by 34 meter by 3 meter room and use SCP-1825 normally. Result. Banging could be heard against the walls whenever D-1825-1 and the ball hit the side of the playing field. Test was otherwise uneventful. Test number 2. Test. SCP-1825 is to be used inside the previous room, with a large table placed in the center. Result. When the ball hit the space approximately located to the table on the playing field, SCP-1825 interpreted the table as a bumper. As D-1825-1 hit the table, the force increased in density and eventually made large dents in the walls. Once the table was hit twice, the table was damaged, reaching a score of 10 before collision. Once the ball fell into the drain, the table immediately collapsed. Test number 3. Subjects D-1825-1 and D-1825-2. Test. SCP-1825 is used inside the room, with an additional D-class inside, D-1825-2. Result. D-1825-2 immediately expressed discomfort once SCP-1825 was activated, reporting inability to move his legs. After each collision with D-1825-2, the score increased by 10 points. When hit for the 4th time, reaching a score of 30 beforehand, D-1825-2's torso disconnected from the lower half of his body and landed on the floor, where the lower half of his body was supported. D-1825-1 immediately let go of SCP-1825 and backed away. When the ball went down the drain, D-1825's lower body was released and fell to the ground. Test number 4. Test. Activate SCP-1825 in a rectangular room that measures 10 meters by 34 meters by 3 meters, with one hole in the floor measuring 2 meters in diameter. D-1825-1 is to use SCP-1825 normally. Once the hole was hit, SCP-1825 interpreted it as a kick-out hole, and the scoreboard gained 50 points. The force was then ejected towards the wall at the speed of approximately 72.4 kilometers per hour. A large hole in the wall was left after the collision, measuring 2 meters in diameter. The test was terminated immediately afterwards. Test number 5. SCP-1825 is used inside an 11 meter by 11 meter by 4 meter room. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force created by SCP-1825. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of noises commonly heard from a standard pinball machine before allowing the ball to be deployed. When hit, the force was distorted to the shape of an oval, which caused the ball inside 1825 to curve away from its typical projection. Test number 6. SCP-1825 is used inside a 3-walled room, with each wall measuring 11 meters and a height of 4 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in force. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of noises. See test log 1825-01-A-4. Afterwards, D-1825-1 was able to use SCP-1825. However, the force seemed to vary in width as it moved across the playing field. Test number 7. SCP-1825 is used inside a cylindrical room with a diameter measuring 11 meters and a height of 4 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion of the force. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted identical noises like in Test 4 and 5, and D-1825-1 was able to use SCP-1825. However, the ball's course has become unpredictable and often bounces to hit the glass. Test number 8. Use SCP-1825 in a spherical room that has a diameter of 12 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force. Result. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of pings before letting D-1825-1 pull the plunger. Although louder and longer than those observed in Tests 5, 6, and 7, when the ball hit the flipper, the room immediately broke off from the rest of the building and launched itself northwest or approximately 500 meters outside. The room fell 3 stories once brought outside and returned to the building. The ball stopped when it lightly hit the side of the site, leaving minimal damage on the first floor. When the inside of the room was examined, blood covered approximately 30% of the interior. SCP-1825 was found on its side, with the left hind leg bent from D-1825-1 colliding with it, and the words "tilt" displayed across its scoreboard. Aside from this, SCP-1825 was otherwise undamaged. Collateral damages include 1 empty office, part of a hallway, 1 janitorial closet, and 2 bathrooms, plus 1 D-class personnel. That's part of a collateral. Did they consider that collateral damage? Oh, old SCP, you had some issues, but that's funny. Note, SCP-1825 needs to be cleaned of blood, have its leg fixed, and moved to its original containment immediately. It appears that when placed inside a spherical room, SCP-1825 cannot identify the room as a playing field, so in an attempt to start the game, SCP-1825 interprets its surroundings into something it can work with. Dr. T. Test number 9. D-1825-3-23 and 21 D-Class personnel. Test. Activate SCP-1825 in a rectangular room that measures 10 meters by 34 meters by 3 meters, and let 18 D-Class personnel in the same room during activation. D-1825-3 is to simply activate SCP-1825 and is told not to pull the plunger. 1 minute after activation, D-1825-22 and D-1825-23 are told to go inside and walk around. This is a lot of reading. I should not have done this. Too late now. D-1825-4 through 21 were prevented from moving. As expected, when D-1825-22 and D-1825-23 were told to go inside, they were allowed to move freely. When D-1825-22 and D-1823 were instructed to try and move, SCP-1825, D-1825-22 and D-1825-23 were unsuccessful. Once SCP-1825 were turned off, D-1825-22 and D-1825-23 were able to lift SCP-1825. Note: using SCP-1825 as a means of containment for D-Class personnel has been considered and denied due to obvious destructive properties of SCP-1825 possesses. This test will also explain how SCP-1825 remained intact during test number 7. Test number 11. Keep SCP-1825 in the same rectangular room. Tell D-1825-3 to line the entire room with the given furniture so it blocks the ball from going inside the drain. As soon as D-1825-3 hit the ball with the plunger, the ball kept bouncing around inside the ring of furniture. The ball has become trapped in an endless loop and presumably refuses to turn off until the ball returns to the drain. Test number 11.1. Give D-1825-3 a set of tools and tell her to try to remove the glass. Once done, D-1825-3 is asked to try and touch the furniture from inside 1825 and put the ball back in the drain. Results. D-1825-3 successfully removed the glass and confirmed that she could feel the furniture. Although no further damage was taken from this action, when the ball was lifted up, the force burst through the ceiling. D-1825-3 panicked and shoved the ball into the drain, which created a large hole in the area. When the game was ended, the score was 30,232,450, and has been recorded as the high score by SCP-1825. Notes: these results explains that the ball is what causes the damage, not the machine. This would open up a possibility for military use, but since it's the only one, it's best if we didn't use SCP-1825 in a situation where it could be damaged further. Dr. T. Test number 12. SCP-1825 is to be outside with a truck placed 25 meters in front of it. T-1825-3 is asked to take the ball out before hitting it with a flipper, to feel around for an object shaped like a truck in SCP-1825's playing field. If D-1825-3 finds it, she then asks to hit it with the ball. Results: test aborted. Notes: since there is a high probability that SCP-1825 would not comprehend an outside playing field and turn redacted into the pinball, I stopped the test. I recommend that we cease further testing with SCP-1825 and have it remain in storage until further notice. Addendum 1825-1-A. Dr. T's statements have been noted. Tests held inside spherical room or outside involving SCP-1825 will be denied. 05-7. Was that fun? Did you enjoy my reading? I know I did, but I swear, if I have to say SCP-1825 or any other variation of 1825 after this video again, I'm going to kill somebody. That was way too many 1825s and I'm losing my mind. Anyway, 1825 in the testing logs showcase two very important notes that Fantem, in my opinion, excels at: humor and body horror. In her first foray into SCP, she stays subtle, but her art is still there. The overall concept to me is absolutely hilarious just as much as it is creative. A pinball machine that turns the room it's in into the game itself. That is hilarious. But the horror comes in when you introduce people to the equation. Scale up a pinball to approximate human size. What do you think it would feel like to get hit by one of those while you can't move? Then factor in getting hit enough to split you from your lower half and being forced to stay alive until the game ends. Imagine as you lie there, split in half, and the ball comes back to hit you again and again and again. That is a Fantem staple. When Fantem writes horror, it's very specific but not overt. And that's why Fantem is one of my favorite SCP authors. This doesn't quite fit in my structure for these videos, but Fantem is also the author of my favorite SCP canon, Pitch Haven. And that canon is full of articles and tales that fit the Fantem style. They're humorous without being a joke, and the horror is specific without being gratuitous. So, little plug, go read 1825, but also go read Pitch Haven, man. I recently put up polls across social media asking for you all to vote on what I should cover for my 100 sub special, which is coming up pretty soon. And covering my favorite SCP canon is by far winning that vote. So, share this video around, subscribe, and you'll hear me ramble about Pitch Haven. In the meantime, tune in for my next video where I talk about my personal favorite Fantem article, SCP-1825, which will also happen to be the very first Series 1 article I cover in this series. Thank you all so much for watching. and I hope you have a wonderful day.